Hello and welcome to Horror Cult Trash Over, this show that discusses all the masterpieces and trash to pieces of genre cinema. I'm Chris.
I'm Gary.
And today we're back again with our fourth Nasty November episode, where we look at all the films that some Tory MP thought would turn your dog into a mass murderer. As always, we're joined by some very special guests, and today we're here with Amelia and Alec, the fabulous couple from the highly entertaining Killer Tracks podcast, where they celebrate their love for horror and music, covering such topics as Will Benson, if you know, you know, Outkast's seminal hit Hey Ya, and classic 90s board game Atmosphere. As well as being wonderful podcast hosts, Amelia is a Kerrang radio presenter who recently interviewed Jamie Lee Curtis, never heard of her, and Alec is the vocalist for Johanna Ray, who recently released their album Reality Fallacy. Representing Birmingham, it's Killer Tracks and Wales.
The research! No, the research.
Yeah. Oh, very kind of you.
Yeah.
She's a journalist, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
It's a journey. Yes, we'll have a bit of Scylla.
It was a little like your contestants on the Wheel of Fortune. I was like, I was enjoying it. I was like,
Yeah.
representing Birmingham.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah.
We need that introduction wherever we go now. We're accustomed to that.
Yeah.
We're accustomed
I'll
to it.
send it over.
Yeah. Yeah. That is now our script from
Yeah.
now on. There's no other way of following that other than a hey, both, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing? Thank you for having us on. We're very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Thank you for joining us. You are like the coolest couple around. I mean, like amazing podcast and two like ridiculously interesting people as well. It's not often you get that. I mean, not even with us. We're boring.
No, you're not.
Don't diss yourselves. You guys are running a lovely, lovely podcast over there.
Exactly.
Horror, cult, trash, other things. What else
Other
do you
things.
want?
Exactly.
What's so many others that we've had?
Many tangents. We weren't allowed to call it Horror Cult Trash Over shit.
Another
Chat and
shit.
crap.
Gotta love a tangent though. Come on. Gotta love a tangent.
They are the best. It's usually housewives, Real Housewives tangents, but
Don't get me started.
oh no.
Yeah, don't. Amelia could go on for days.
Wait, what mug
You're
have you
damn
got
right.
today? Have you got your Lisa Rinna
I have
mug?
my Lisa Rinna mug today.
Amazing.
I also have a Kathy Hilton mug, so I don't know.
Yeah,
which
but that we
team I'm
don't
on.
really use that one anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Gary tends to buy me mugs that I kind of have to throw away because they get cancelled or they're
Yeah.
class on the show, and you're like, well, I'm not Team Kathy anymore.
Yeah.
You just have to accidentally just drop it on the floor, be like, oops,
I-
yes, you cancelled in the bin.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm Team
Please.
Rinna anymore.
Yeah, I think even Lisa Rinna's.
I'm expecting a Garcelle mug at some point. Garcelle
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Our,
Imagine if there'll be a sale somewhere, the cancelled collection.
Yeah.
It's the same with our Funko Pops as well. We collect Funko Pops and we have so many that we've hid away somewhere because they've all been cancelled.
Oh my god. Just turn them, unbox them, and turn
Yeah.
them around
Yeah.
to the wall for shame, for
And
shame.
then rebox them.
Yeah.
Or the wrong way around.
It was, what was the one? It was Justin Timberlake. Oh, Justin Timberlake. I
Oh,
remember
God.
him from my childhood. And then I watched the Britney documentary.
So, oh, let's
and
put
we
that
watched the
away.
Janet Jackson. We were like, oh no, that was a
Yeah.
terrible nostalgia. Not quite.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I love me some NSYNC, but Britney and Janet, I can't get on board with you. No.
This is for Britney and Janet.
Yeah, I mean, we have replaced them with like 3 other Britney Spears Funko Pops.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Good,
have made
good. I hope he knows. We should tweet him and just tell
Yeah.
him, like, look what we've done.
We're gonna run it over. Get someone to run it over. This is for Janet.
Yeah.
I believe my journalist here has some questions.
Oh, I'm
I'm
a journalist, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, just a few questions to get us. Nothing too in depth. So,
Good, we can't deal with in-depth questioning.
what's your earliest childhood memory? No.
Let's start at the start. Go back.
What made you want to start a podcast tying together your love of horror and music?
You want to take this one?
We just looked at each other like, who's gonna go?
You start us off, and
Okay.
then I'll interrupt at some point.
I love it. That is how we do. That's how we do. So we both started off as musicians. So we both went to music school basically. Alec was in the year above me, I was in the year below, and we met that way. So during lockdown, we were like, okay, all of our musician friends aren't gigging. No one's gigging, no one's doing any shows. How can we help support them and what they're doing? So we thought, okay, obviously we're like horror. That was a given. But we're like, also, how can we help get our friends' music out there so the people know what they're doing, can hear them, hear new bands. So yeah, it was like, okay, killer track. It's killer and it's track.
Yeah, kind of like
Amazing.
culminated two interests that we both have.
Yeah.
And kind of during it was May of 2020 that we started. When we were both furloughed, so we had boatloads of time, and we had recording equipment kind of lying around. So we were like, well, we could just do a podcast. I mean, someone might want to listen to us talking about
Someone will listen,
about
please.
music that we like, and horror films that we like. And yeah, we got a really great reaction to some of our early music episodes too, because we just kind of like put a question out on Facebook. I think it was like a group forum in like Brighton where we were based, and just basically said, does anyone want us to feature their music on our podcast that has 0 episodes and no following? And we got like 100 replies. I'm like, okay, people are really interested for their music to be on a platform when there is no platform for it, even if we don't currently have a platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I think I speak for both of us and say we're horror and music nerds, so we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you were in an unsigned band.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Struggling musician for many years.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you still play?
Yeah, so I'm currently trying to start up an all queer indie punk band in Manchester.
Cool.
On the classic website, and this isn't an ad, joinmyband.com.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're all familiar with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to do that currently, but been in and out of bands for years. Our intro song is actually by my old band, 1 Week Stand.
Available on Spotify.
I know, I've never mentioned it on the podcast.
Mention it, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
224 episodes in.
Yeah.
No one's asked, unfortunately.
Well, we asked and we care. We want to know. Keep us updated with your band, though. That sounds cool. Keep us
Yeah,
updated.
definitely.
Yeah, we'll have to feature it on the podcast when
that would
you've
be
got
Hey.
songs
Absolutely.
available.
Yeah.
So, question number 2, more specific about today's episode. What's your opinion on the video nasties? Do you have a favourite or least favourite?
I would say. Wait, do you want to go first? I answer the first one first.
Sure. I didn't necessarily ever think about if I had a favorite video nasties. In all truthfulness, Amelia is much of a bigger horror nerd than I am. I'd say. I think I didn't even, and I've said this before on Killer Track, but I didn't even watch horror before I met Amelia.
Till I polluted your mind.
So I think it was just it's not something I've ever thought about that much. But we had a little look. We've had looks plenty of times now through the video nasties, and one film that really sticks out just because I've loved it, and we got the game, funnily enough, which is The Evil Dead. The original Evil Dead film is probably one of my favorites. But The Burning's up there as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, do you know, no one said that so far.
Yeah.
The Burning is
Burning
fantastic.
is a great
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
The Burning is slept on. Like, it's such a good film. It's such a good film. Good old Cropsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, The Burning's sick.
Yeah.
But you're like a massive zombie fan, aren't you?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even before we met, like
Yeah.
you loved Shaun of the Dead, like
Yeah.
all those films. So is it Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really like. I'm
Kind of
not gonna lie. I don't really like that film.
Yeah,
But...
but yeah, it is quite funny actually whenever I speak to especially like seasoned horror people and they say, oh, what's your favorite horror film? And I'm like, Shaun of the Dead, and they're like, it's not a horror film, it's a comedy. No, it's a horror comedy.
No.
It counts.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah, of
counts.
course. it's what you like. It's what you
Yeah.
like. I mean, this is a tangent. This is a tangent. But it's like when I speak to seasoned horror fans and I'm like, yeah, I love Blade. They're like, Blade's not a horror film. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, Blade is definitely a horror
Ooh.
film.
Oh, that cuts
Someone
me
only
deep.
watched Blade for the first time last year.
I did. Loved it. Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're gonna have to leave if you didn't like it. I'm just closing the laptop.
No, I loved
I
it.
haven't showed him Blade Trinity yet, though. He's only seen
Oh
one or two.
dear. Oh
Yeah.
Maybe skip the third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, actually, we ended up buying Blade 1 and 2,
Of
and we've like just came across it in like a charity shop kind of thing, and Blade the trilogy box set was there, but Amelia was like, no, I'll just pick up one.
Yeah, we don't need. I think I already had one. But I was like, we don't need to discuss the third one. Triple H is in it.
Yeah, that's the only reference point I have for it. Triple H and what's her name? Parker Posey.
All I remember
In
about
Scream
it,
3,
in
she
all
was in
honesty,
one of them.
all I remember is when they go into the sex shop and they got the vampire dildo. That's all I remember.
Oh my
That's
God.
the only scene I remember. That and Ryan Reynolds just talking shit throughout the whole film.
Oh, it's fucking absolute crap, isn't it? Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Early Ryan Reynolds.
Early Ryan Reynolds.
Early Ryan
still,
Reynolds.
Still six pack. Amityville horror era.
Yes,
yeah.
Amityville Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, very six pack, very square beard, kind of like triangly, like square.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very frightening.
But coming back to Chris's question.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, that should have been banned. Blade Trinity should have been banned. So.
Yeah, that should have been on the video, nasties. What would be your response? Or...
My response. So I love Axe, Last House on the Left, The Burning, Evil Dead, obviously, freaking George A. Romero. I would say those. Yeah, I'd say those.
You know what? I'm glad you said Axe because
Yeah.
we had that as a choice this month and we swapped it out. So we weren't sure. We've never seen it, but we saw it's only like an hour long, so we didn't know there'd be enough to discuss for a podcast episode for it.
Mm.
I quite like it. Yeah, it's very short
Okay.
and sweet, but I like it. Yeah.
Oh, nice. We'll have to watch it then.
Yeah.
We might have to watch it. Actually,
Yeah, I think
no?
so.
Give it a watch. Yeah, let me know what you
Yeah.
think. I quite like it. Yeah, but I think films that shouldn't be on there, like I don't like The Driller Killer. I really don't
Oh
like that
god,
film.
fuck Driller Killer.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Hate that film.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You always get scared to say your like opinions on certain films, like just is this okay?
Yeah,
But yeah,
one-
Driller Killer I don't like at all.
yeah, one I've never seen.
It's up on there.
Yeah, got it in the collection.
Looking at the collection, the old
even though you don't
collection.
like it.
No. No, I don't. Because I'll tell you who gave it to me.
Here's a film I hate. Better buy it.
No, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. It was,
Oh.
what's it? What were they called? Our old podcast friends that don't podcast anymore that you guys will definitely know. Oh.
It'll come to you. It'll
Video Nasties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
Video.
was the name.
Do you guys remember Video Nasties?
No, I've not heard of this.
No.
No. Oh, I don't think the podcast anymore, but those around like maybe 2 years ago. They were like a little
Ah.
podcast click and they sent it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
And
Oh,
they sent
thanks,
all those
guys.
films.
Is there a booby prize?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, thanks for the gift, guys. Wow.
God, did that suck?
You've got any more shit to send us?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh wait, I got loads of shit I could send you.
Justin
If you
Bieber
want someone to
Funko Pop.
collect us, I got shit. Like
Yeah.
nothing.
All the Justin Timberlake Funkos.
Yeah, why did I say Justin Bieber?
Yeah, same person.
We do not have a Justin Bieber Funko Pop. Just put that up. We do, however, have S Club Scene double on DVD, so we can send that to you.
Oh
Yes.
my, please do. Oh my, love a bit of S Club. Please send it.
You won't after watching that film.
And third question and last question: what
Yeah.
made you choose Dead and Buried? But I think we've covered that. You
Well, we
had-
did before we started recording. It's okay.
Oh shit! Okay.
Oh, before.
Oh, how long's this thing been on for? So
Hours, probably. Hours.
Yeah.
what made you choose Dead and Buried for today's episode?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it was because Amelia's more seasoned than I am, if you like. It was one that neither of us had seen. We also did zero research before putting it on.
Yeah.
So we watched it, and then, when we watched it, we were like, okay, let's just go in completely blind. Don't like research it at all. Just go straight in. And yeah, I guess it was just it was a bit of a mystery for both of us rather than for just me. I think that was kind of like, because that's kind of like the way it ends up going quite often.
Oh, no.
And not in a bad way. Like, it's kind of an interesting way of doing, if we're doing like an older film, it's kind of an interesting way to come at it if Amelia's experienced it before and I haven't, because then we've got almost kind of different points to make. But it was cool because we can both experience it fresh at the same time.
Yeah.
I guess that's one. Well, I feel like that was the reason we went for it, right?
Yeah, cool. I completely agree, Boo. It's like it's nice. A lot of films that I grew up with, I'll be like, oh my god, Alec, have you seen like Whistle and I'll Come or like the original Dracula or whatever? And you're like, no. I'm like, okay, let's watch it. And then but I've also forgot what the hell happens in those films as well. I just knew that I'd seen it, but because I hadn't seen it for so long, so I guess we re-experience films kind of like that together.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like you said, we both hadn't seen it. We love Dead. We love Buried.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can't go wrong. Your first time watching it, wasn't it, Chris?
It was my first time watching it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I kind of knew what to expect. We had, and I didn't realize this, a mild spoiler last week.
Yeah.
Our guest, when we told our guest last week that we were watching Dead and Buried, he was like, "Oh, so and so's in it. Jack Albertson, and he plays a certain character." And I was like, "Oh, fabulous, great!" And then you watch the film, and I was like, "That's a twist."
Yeah, thanks, Ben Simpson. Shout out to previous podcast guests.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I was like, "Oh, I know what happens now." Okay.
Yeah, like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank God. Imagine if it was shit. Imagine if...
I know.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Imagine being on
Be
this
even longer.
podcast.
Yeah.
Imagine being on this podcast and watching something that's shit. Imagine that. Yes. We are, of course, discussing Dead and Buried 1981, a film that I watched for the first time when I was 11 years old. Far too young.
Wow.
I realised today. Yeah, because...
That explains a lot, though.
It all makes sense.
Maybe they were right.
It was
Maybe they were right.
it was when I was first getting into horror, and I remember Anchor Bay had released it on DVD, and it was a big deal. There was a video nasty that's finally being released on DVD. And I just remember really enjoying it. But yeah, today I realized it's actually a fantastic piece of horror filmmaking. I was really surprised. Because sometimes what we have learned is sometimes things I remember from the past being good aren't so good when
100%. Yeah.
watch them later on.
Yeah.
Like little you thinks it's the scariest thing in the world. You watch it again, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is hilarious.
Yes, Dead and Buried, directed by Gary Sherman, who made Poltergeist 3, Lisa, Murderer's Vision, After the Shock, Sable, Mysterious 2, Deathline, also known as Raw Meat, and more. He wanted this film to be a comedy originally.
Okay.
No
Oh,
way.
really?
Did anyone get any comedy vibes from it?
No.
I thought it was very serious.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it
kind of got a
was.
comedy vibe actually, but I also have autism, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Most things just like, is this how I'm meant to feel?
You got a different sense of humor.
Yeah, I've got a very odd sense of humor, very strange sense of humor.
One of
but
the
I kind of did.
One of the things that we both did laugh at though, right in like very early on in the film, was when and apologies if I'm running too far into the structure, but like when the very first photographer is like taking pictures of the woman that's in red, and the saxophone comes in as he's panning up her legs and then to her face. Like we were both saying, like, actually she's really close. So can you imagine if someone was like you know, panning really slowly,
So slow. It's like
Yeah.
sexy lady.
We have a lot to say about that scene. That's definitely a highlight. It's definitely a highlight. The film was written by Jeff Miller and Alec Stone, who have done nothing else at all. Also written by Dan O'Bannon, who made Alien, Return of the Living Dead, Dark Star, Total Recall, Hemogoblins, Screamers, Heavy Metal, Life Force, Invaders from Mars, and more. He disowned the film.
Really?
He said that Ronald Shusett, who worked alongside him on Alien, Ronald Shusett also did King Kong Lives, Campsite Massacre, Above the Law, W, Free Jack, Phobia, and Hemogoblin as well. Apparently he wrote it all by himself, but needed O'Bannon's name on the project, promising that he would implement some of his changes. But after watching the film, O'Bannon realized that none of his changes actually made the film.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you think he would go more for the comedy? I'm thinking Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I think so. Return of the
That's
Living
true, yeah.
Yeah. And it's based on the novel by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough. So we love a bit of women in horror on this podcast.
Yarbrough.
That's the name.
It is. I've got it written down too. It is Yarbrough, but the way you
Love
said
that.
it.
Budget $3 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it made $216,166 at the box office.
Nice.
Which
Ooh, wah, wah, wah.
yeah. That might be to do with the interference from PSO International, the third financer who brought out the second financer, Aspen. They wanted to emphasize gore over comedy, the latter on which the director's cut had concentrated. So yes, there is another version of this film out there for anyone. I mean, I want to see it. I don't know if that was the version I watched originally. As a result, numerous scenes were cut or shortened, and the 2 scenes of graphic violence were tacked on at PSO's request. I think, I mean, I don't know how much that would have affected it in the 80s, because it was, I mean, gory horror was in them. That was 1981.
But gory horror, like frivolous gory horror with, you know, TNA and slasher films, and this is a lot different to that. It's much slower. It's more.
It tells more of a story.
Methodical.
Yeah.
I think you can tell that if they're not about stuff, it's success by the fact that it's an 80s film that didn't get a sequel.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't get Deader and Buried or 2 or whatever. You know?
More
But I think
much
more
deader,
Buried,
much
more
buried.
Deader.
Yeah.
Should we talk about who's in the film?
Oh, in a section we like to call Hey, I Know You. And who do we know in this film?
James Farentino plays Sheriff Dan Gillis. Did we enjoy James Farentino, who was acting? He thought he was getting an Oscar for this. He's
Just gonna sit here and wait for my Oscar to come through the post.
Coming in.
He really put 110% in at times.
He called his acting coach every single
did.
day. I got this scene.
Just want to run some notes past you again.
He was in The Final Countdown, Bulletproof, Jesus of Nazareth, Dynasty, ER, Murder in the Mirror, The Last Producer, Scandalous Me, The Jacqueline Susan Story, and plenty more.
Wow.
Well-rounded.
Well, that's some camp TV right there.
That is.
That explains the acting choices.
I quite liked him. I he was giving, like, at the end, which we're probably going to get into, they're like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I was laughing at that. To be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. I was like, okay, yeah, we've got a bit of light and shade there. That's quite nice.
Yeah, he did. I thought it was interesting when he was like, when he was, couldn't quite tell if he was frustrated or horrified or both. But like in some things where he was like slamming his fists into his face as he screamed. Like,
I like the commitment.
Yeah.
He gave it his best, and that's
He
all you can
did.
expect.
Exactly.
That's all they
Yeah.
need.
I enjoyed
Tragedy.
watching him. I enjoyed watching him.
Well done, James. We're all very proud of you.
Melody Anderson plays his wife, Janet Gillis. Now, there's someone who does give a performance.
Well, I'm not sure her performance, but she slays plenty of looks.
She does.
She
She
turns
does.
it. She turns it. She does.
Mm.
She is the star of Flash Gordon, Cannonball Fever, Firewalker, Murder, She Wrote, Marilyn and Bobby, Her Final Affair,
Oh,
Hitler's Daughter, Beverly Hills Madam, and plenty more.
oh,
Beverly Hills Madam. What's
Beverly
that?
Hills Madam.
That is next week's podcast film.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the sequel to Dead and Buried.
Yeah. That's what she did
Sequel that we
after.
needed.
Yeah.
The one that stuck out for me personally, and I got a few notes on it, is Hitler's Daughter.
Yeah.
It's a TV movie from 1990, and it's listed as a sci-fi thriller on IMDb. Yeah. It stars Veronica Cartwright from Alien and Kay Lentz, former podcast star in Strict to Kill.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's Hitler's daughter wants to occupy the White House. She might...
Are you fucking
I'm
serious?
serious. She might just do it unless the ineffectual Nazi hunters and their latest recruit can figure out who the heck she is.
Oh
What?
my God,
Yeah.
please.
Guys, is this genuinely a film we're gonna have to review at some point?
I thought
We
it
might have
was
to do a
fake.
part 2 of this whole
Collectively.
I
thing.
think so. I think so. The career of Melody Anderson.
The highs, the lows.
Jack Albertson, as in his final theatrical film as William G. Dobbs. He was, of course, in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Miracle on 34th Street, Poseidon Adventure, The Fox and the Hound, The Subject Was Roses, Echoes of the Road, and more. Really wasn't expecting to see him in a role like this.
Honestly, yeah.
When-
yeah.
And when Amelia like pointed it out as he was saying one of his lines, Amelia's like, "Oh my God, it's Grandpa Joe
Yeah,
or
it's like,
whatever."
it's bloody
Yeah.
Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
What's he doing
I
here?
was like, "No, it can't be. Can't be."
It's his voice. He's got a really distinctive voice. It was the voice.
Yeah.
But I tell you, Grandpa Joe, as you know, I talk about this quite a lot.
Here comes the tangent if you're ready for it.
So there's a few people that are just really irk me. Cliff Richard's one of them. I can't stand him. And Grandpa Joe is another one. Obviously, yes, fictional, but still, to quote Kim Kardashian, who I also don't like, get your ass up and work. Everyone's eating
Yes.
freaking lettuce soup, and then Charlie comes back with
Yeah.
a ticket and he jumps up. No, you
Yeah.
could have walked
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, all of a
Grandpa
sudden he just
Joe-
needs to be in bed all the time.
Yeah, he is the face of benefits fraud, isn't he? Grandpa Joe. I'd like to think his character in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is the same character as this film as well. And that's another
Yeah.
secret he's hiding. Because who knows what he's hiding?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really declare it, can you?
No.
It's like, have you been looking for jobs recently, Grandpa
Yeah.
Joe? Like, yeah.
That'd be amazing. That'd be such an amazing like piece of canon if he was born. He'd somehow survived. He's been the age of like 75 for about 100 years.
Oh, I can't look for jobs right now. Oh no. Oh, there's a new corpse down the road. Someone just thought, oh well, fuck yeah. I'll go right now.
I'm all over that.
Yeah.
A corpse is just as good as a golden ticket.
Jack Albertson was an Oscar winner for The Subject Was Roses. He won the
Well, yeah,
Oscar
committed
for that
benefit
film.
fraud. Of course, he's a fucking Oscar winner. Well done to him. Got away with it.
By any
I
means
don't-
necessary. Come on.
But I think he was like more of a comedic actor, so I'm not sure if he was meant to bring the comedy, and then they
that's a
sort
good
of like
point.
play it serious now.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny seeing him in the role, but that's just because we know him from playing Grandpa
Yeah.
Joe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah. He's good. He's
He
good
did
in
more
the
than
film.
one film
yeah,
before.
yeah.
He wasn't like.
I can't remember who he played in Miracle on 34th Street. So was he Santa Claus?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh my
Who
god.
actually was he? In Miracles.
This is the original.
Yeah.
Or is it?
yeah.
This isn't the Mara Wilson one.
The one we watched.
The one that we watched,
Yeah.
the black and white one.
Yeah.
Oh, he would. Yeah. He'd be 1,000 years old if he was. Yeah.
Dennis Redfield's also in this as Ron. The head of the family that show my favorite characters in the film, the family that show up halfway through the film and get murdered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was in Problem Child 1 and 2, Dallas, Fatal Vision, One Good Cop, The Tempest, Unforgivable, Days of Our Lives, Scanner Cop, Born Too Soon, and plenty more, including my favorite, Deadly Messages, where he plays a character called Dick Pizza.
Now. Thank God.
Anyone else hungry?
Absolutely famished. So not bloody. What's his name from Tangent again? From Old Mid-sized Sedan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stupid name. Have you guys seen Old?
Yeah,
God.
we've witnessed old. We
We managed to make it through old.
Mm.
oh, what a film. Nancy Locke plays Linda. She was in Pretty Woman, Eve of Destruction, No Safe Haven, Dead Man Walking, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Cold Fire, Dynasty, and more. Linda,
These are quite straight up films. Like
Yeah.
when we do some of these, what have we seen them in? Some of them are a bit like bare babes on windscreen.
May I refer you
Oh.
to Deadly Messages with Dick Pizza?
I know, but usually we'll go through them and like, what are these films that they've started?
Can I remind you of Hitler's Daughter?
Yeah.
Exhibit A, Hitler's
Veronica
daughter.
Cartwright.
And finally, he doesn't have a big role in the film, but he needs a mention. Robert Englund is in this as Harry. That's the one thing I remember when I first watched this, is the fact that Freddy Krueger was in it. Of course, from Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Urban Legend, recently Stranger Things, Hatchet, Eaten Alive, Wishmaster, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, 2001 Maniacs, V, and more. Yeah, horror legend.
Many more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does not get
Yeah.
a lot to do in this film, but
No.
horror legend.
Smash or pass?
What
Oh
era?
no.
No, pass.
I was like,
Oh,
oh.
yeah, sorry, pass. I mean, pass.
No,
Oh God. I'm actually really thinking. No, pass. Absolutely not. No. No.
And if our listeners could also write in with an answer
Yeah,
to that,
yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
We need to know.
market
Smash or
research.
pass?
We're going to send it to Robert Englund. Your feedback. So, shall we discuss our feature presentation?
Yeah, go on then.
They terrified you with the movie Alien. Now the creators of Alien take you along the strangest road you've ever traveled. A road with only one way in and no way out. The terrors of Alien have come down to Earth. Dead and Buried will take your breath away. All of it. Dead and Buried.
Now showing at a cinema near you. Check newspapers for details.
We start with some very sad piano music and the opening credits over a black and white photo of Potter's Bluff. Potter's Bluff.
That's the fan fiction Gary used to write about Harry Potter.
An amateur photographer arrives in coastal Potter's Bluff to take some pictures of the beach before he gets a jump scare by someone's foot.
Yeah, these
Oh,
photos, not great, are they?
No.
It's not
He's
groundbreaking.
trying his best, all
It's like,
right.
Here's some old tat on the beach. Here's
Yeah.
a bird. Here's, they're not great. I wasn't a big
Yeah.
fan of his.
He's not even
photography.
using the rule of thirds. Calls himself.
We get some amazing dialogue when this queen shows up in a amazing red outfit. She says, "That's a really good camera, isn't it? You've got to be a professional photographer to have a camera like that." Okay, have you been researching cameras? How did you know?
All right, camera expert over here.
They are camera experts.
Well, I mean, supposedly,
Oh, they are actually, yeah. They
Yeah.
are camera experts. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, assuming they haven't just all stolen them from other victims.
Oh, maybe they have.
Yeah.
They maybe, like they just have a thing for photographers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you know, there's old bottles on the beach aren't going to
Wow.
photograph themselves, are they?
they talk doing business.
Kind of red stripe floating in the background.
Ooh, art.
Yeah.
They talk doing business with photography and make up names for each other. They decide on Freddie and Lisa, which is quite fitting because she kind of looks like Lisa from The Room a little bit.
She does.
Ah.
It's a prequel.
A prequel.
Yeah.
Oh, so she does.
Tommy
yeah.
Wiseau's inspiration.
Yeah.
Then buried.
And then the actress's name is Lisa.
Is the actress called Lisa as well?
Yeah, but in the credits, she's Girl on Beach.
Girl on Beach. Oh,
then-
How horrible.
She's on the beach, but then she's a nurse throughout the rest of the film.
yeah. Certain characters in this film, they don't get actual names because there's only one of everything in this film. So there's only one girl on the beach at first. Then waitress, she's the only waitress in the town. Doctor is the only doctor in the town. It's like, come on.
Oh,
give them a name.
yeah. So we don't have to name them. It's fine. People will know what we mean.
Yeah.
It's
So I
easy.
do my notes. I do refer to her as Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to go Girl on Beach.
No,
we'll
Girl
give her-
on
we'll-
Yeah,
Beach.
give her a name.
We'll give her
yeah.
a name.
Lisa, yeah.
But yeah, this is when we get the ridiculously camp photo shoot. He's just shouting stuff at her while she's doing some great poses. In some of my favorite dialogue, he says, "You're great. That's wonderful. I'm going to put this in Playboy."
I was like, sir, do you know anybody?
Yeah.
What are your credentials?
Yeah.
This is going straight in Playboy. Like, is it?
Yeah.
Or are you taking these pictures home? Let's
I-
be honest.
I'm going to send this to Playboy along with my selective photos of rope and seagulls. Yeah.
But it's the moment he says, "I'm going to send these to Playboy," that she takes her top down.
That's like Playboy. Let me get ready.
Playboy, you say.
Big
Here we
leagues.
go. I'm not sure about her hair. I was a little confused.
I didn't like the hair neither. And I also didn't like the outfit. I didn't like it.
Oh, no.
No, I knew the top was coming down. Like, I was like, look, this is tied too loosely. We all know this is coming down. He even knew as well, probably.
But the hair kind of curled inwards.
Yeah.
didn't it? I thought she had it tied up in like a Star Wars style. And then when it was a close up, I was like, "Oh, it curls inward rather than outward." I don't like that. So yeah, she lost all credibility.
Wow,
that
poor
ain't
Lee.
making
Poor girl on the
that
beach.
ain't making
Yeah.
Playboy without hair. No way.
She's been relegated back down from Lisa to Girl on Beach now. Yeah.
Now we understand why they didn't want to name you.
More like Argos catalogue model with that hairstyle.
Wow, poor girl on beach.
I know, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, please.
But you know, in the words of some famous dialogue in Old, there is something wrong with this beach, and we realise there's a sinister side to Lisa, don't we?
We do. Yeah.
After
Yeah.
she invites him to have sex with her, she steals his camera, takes a picture of him. Okay, Lisa, that's an expensive camera. Be careful. You've already pointed out how expensive it is.
Yeah.
And now she's the owner of it, and a mob of townspeople beat him, put him on a post with a fishing net, and set him on fire.
Can I just ask, where did that all come from? Because they were far
Yeah.
too sneaky up on that beach. I was like, look, I know you think you're gonna get it in, so you're like, oh, girl on beach, it's going down. But look at your surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Look at your surroundings.
did they just jump out of the sand?
Yeah.
Like,
They just washed up on the shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are. Like expensive cameras also.
A really nasty first death scene. I don't remember it being this brutal, this first one, because I mean all you see really is him on fire, but it's still pretty out there.
It's quite intense.
Yeah.
It's quite intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there was a sale on beanies? Because every fucker has a beanie on.
But it's a seaside town, boats and fishermen.
Everyone wears a hat. Such an array of hats. He's even got a hat on, one of his newsboy hats. So we know that
He does have
he's a
hat on.
photographer. He's got a minivan and a newsboy hat. He's taking it serious.
Sheriff Dan Gillis, assisted by Dobbs, the mortician, discovers Freddy's burnt body in a crashed car, and the body screams at them.
Oh, that was hilarious. Sorry, that was so funny.
I quite
liked that bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I quite liked it. I liked that. I liked that he wasn't just dead. Like that kind of. It seemed as though they'd failed. I like that.
Yeah, and the effect looks really good as well for his burnt body, and
yeah,
he's also part of one of the best effects of the film later on as well.
Yeah.
The next day, Dan and some friends, including Robert Englund's Harry, are discussing finding the body over breakfast when the waitress tells him how terrible it was. Now, we know that the waitress is the same character who lit the match and set him on fire because the soundtrack, when the camera pans to her, it's dum.
Yeah. You get the evil noise. Boom. Oh!
Yeah.
It's her.
Should have had the shade
Now,
noise.
her hair. Yeah. Her hair. What about that?
Hers. Okay. When was this film set? Because she's giving World War II realness. She looks like it's the 40s, but later on they reference 1969, don't they? So it must be set in the late 70s. But why the fuck is she dressed like that for?
Potter's Bluff really wasn't on their game when it came to the fashion trends of the time.
No, I
You
suppose
weren't getting
not.
anything. No catalogs, no nothing. They just had to make do. Hats and fishing stuff. That's it.
It's true.
Maybe if we buy all of the headwear, we'll be in the right era at some point.
yeah. Keep trying, girls. Keep trying.
What's that? Is it Air Raid Cafe or?
Oh, we don't need to talk about the Air Raid Cafe.
No.
Fucking hell.
But was it not giving you that?
It was giving the
What
Air
is
Raid.
the Air Raid Cafe?
Oh,
No, I want to know. What is that? What is the Air Raid Cafe?
I don't know. Are we going to get ourselves a
Shout out to the Air Raid Cafe. It's good that you don't know what it is. So it's a bunch of it's a bunch of old white Tories that got together in a cafe in where was it?
Where I don't know.
Sussex,
maybe, probably.
And they all did a song for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee to the tune of what song was it?
Go
again?
West.
Go West by the Pet Shop Boys, and it's one of the most horrific things you will ever see in your entire life. But it's hilarious because of that. We could do a whole episode.
They all look so bored going, "We love you, Your Majesty. We love you." On YouTube, and it's awful, and this cafe is given that. It's given that.
What is
40s?
What is with these again tangent? What is with these like weird songs? It's like we need a woman in the house, the White House.
Yeah.
You guys seen that?
It's a guy that made a song for the Hillary Clinton campaign, and it was incredible. He
is living his fantasy. He's going in. He's like, yeah. It's and everyone in the background is just like really struggling to clap in time. It's great.
And then it became a meme, and then it became a full music video.
Yes, he put some money behind that.
Yeah. Someone decided this has legs.
Have you heard the Coventry Market song?
No.
Okay, yeah, you need to when we finish recording, go on YouTube and watch the Coventry Market song. You will not regret it.
Oh, we will swap songs after this.
Yeah,
Like, we
yeah.
need to swap some songs.
An entire song dedicated to how great Coventry Market is and how you
Oh
can
my
buy
God.
all kinds of everything there.
Nice.
Jesus.
Love it.
What
Yeah.
all kinds of everything was included? It's big pair of knickers.
Oh.
It was
Cashews.
tattoos and cashews, carpets. 6 for £1 on fruit.
Oh.
Okay.
This is giving me like £1 fish vibe.
Okay.
There's
It's what it is,
£1
£1 fish. It's also East Hills for back to school. Do you remember that on Vine Classics?
Yeah.
Oh, good old Vine.
Meanwhile,
age.
in Potter's Potter's Bluff. Meanwhile, in Potter's Bluff, a fisherman goes to Coventry Market. No, he's taking.
There's some great deals.
He's talking to himself when the townspeople show up, take pictures of him, and kill him with a scimithe.
Well, he's not talking. He is talking to himself, but
He
he's pissed as a fart, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
had way too much.
Cinematography from this point on is fantastic. And during filming, Gary Sherman purposely avoided letting the color red be visible in any scene, so the sight of blood during the murder sequences would be more shocking. To the point, he even had some of the tail lights on the cars replaced with purple lights instead of the normal red.
Wow.
Oh.
And you can really tell there's so much atmosphere in this film because of the filmmaking. It's fantastic.
That
Yeah.
is skill.
I mean, it's
That's
absolutely
it.
be the fog, but you know, it's definitely given the fog.
Yes. Have you-
Yeah. I think that's true. The fog, like I think just the use of shadows as well. Like the shadowing was so spot on. I think you even said that
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah.
Like the shadowing just looked so beautiful.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few really good shots that I've got in my notes coming up, especially the one with the family in the house and the person's in the
Yeah.
window in the background. That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
good.
that was your favorite.
Yeah.
Grandpa Joe's having a dance around Mrs. Collins' corpse at his morgue when Dan comes to visit him, and he tells Dan, poor Mrs. Collins, she looked as though she was in a street fight. What do we think happened to Mrs. Collins?
Well, it's revealed later. I thought.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought
I
it was
missed
a read.
Oh, is it?
Was
That's
it?
what
I'm-
I thought.
oh.
But later on, he talks about the bodies have to be damaged in some way. So this little old lady died in her sleep, but he's beat her up or gotten his people to beat
Fucking hell,
her up
Grandpa
so
Joe.
that he
Oh.
can fix her and create her, his artistry.
Right.
Because she died a really boring death in her sleep, he had to
Hmm.
make it more exciting so he could work his magic.
Yeah.
All right. Poor
I
thing.
completely missed that.
Yeah, so did I.
That went over my head.
Yeah, poor Mrs. Collins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Clearly
no.
wasn't memorable if all of us forgot about us.
Do your thing, Grandpa Joe. We understand.
Until he
Do
talked
your
about it
thing, make her
later, I
memorable.
thought it was a bit of a read. I was like, oh, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
She's an old lady, for God's sake, leave her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, she died in her sleep, but she still looked like she got beaten up. Like, yeah.
Look at this rough bitch.
Grandpa Joe, the king of shade.
He tells Dan how he's an artist and likes to make his corpses memorable. And at this point, Dan doesn't think, shit, maybe he's the fucking killer. But no, he's like, oh, that's perfectly normal. He's just a sketchy old man. It's fine.
Yeah. He's like, this I can deal with, but my wife is some like witchcraft. This I can't deal with.
Yeah.
This is the issue.
Yeah.
Dan tells Dobbs how he's concerned that something strange is going on when he's interrupted by a call from Betty at the station to tell him there's been another murder, which is, of course, the fisherman. Dan goes to see Ben, who owns the town's top-rated Airbnb, and provides some of the best line delivery in the film. Like, Ben Jones was like, "Oh Christ!" Like, he really drags every line of dialogue out so much.
Dan is a messy bitch who loves drama.
He
Definitely.
He takes Dan to Freddie's room where they just find loads of photographs. And he's like, oh, yeah, I saw your wife in here the other day. Like, oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot.
Living for stirring the pot. Living for stirring the pot. Honestly, I'm like, why are you saying that now? Like, why are you saying that now? Loving stirring the pot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben definitely has the producer's credit. He's just in there to push
Definitely
the
a
plot
producer. Yeah, definitely the Carl Richards of Potter's Bluff.
Dan and Janet. Yeah, so we're introduced to Janet, Dan's wife. And they're talking about
see.
Freddie.
Yeah, they are talking about
Yeah.
Freddie.
She
Who's
knew
Freddie?
him because he, well,
George.
spoiler, I was about to get to
Oh,
that.
shit, sorry.
She knew him because he takes photos for the local school, and his real name is George Lemoyne.
Oh, I do apologize.
What a great name, George
That's a
Lemoyne.
fabulous name. That's a
Yeah.
great name. Yeah. Very good.
Well
Name.
done, George. I don't know why he accepted Freddie on the beach when he could just say, actually, it's Mr. Lemoyne.
You don't wear a hat like that with mustard yellow without being called George Des Moines.
Yeah.
Why does a school need a photographer? Why does she think he'd believe this?
Yeah, a permanently employed photographer,
Yeah.
no less,
That's a little
Who's all-
sketchy.
who's also dealing photography equipment to the school.
Yeah.
So he's selling photography equipment and is their permanent in residence photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a role to fill.
Just a
But-
bit weird, isn't it? Just a bit sketchy.
Yeah, it's a small
Yeah.
town with one doctor, one mortician, one
One school
One
photographer.
school
Yeah.
photographer
You know, the usual.
yeah.
who apparently knows Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
Apparently.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
they-
with Playboy.
Yeah.
I really hope they did a DBS check on him because that is really
Definitely
sketchy.
need to see this.
Dan's out and about and he bumps into Mr. Haskell in his car, the principal at the school. We know this because he says, after all, I am the principal at the school.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
says they
that's-
never brought any photos from George.
Mm.
So they don't know him. What they're talking about.
Okay, one thing, and this is a huge spoiler. If you haven't watched the film, you shouldn't be
We've
listening
already spoiled it
anyway.
already. It's
Yeah, we've
people
already
know
spoiled
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's with all this drama between people when the big reveal
I know, yeah.
is the fact that they're all dead?
They are all thirsty for drama.
What
in
is
that
with
town.
this? What's with this EastEnders bullshit? We're like, is Janet having it with her? You know, what's with all of this when the big reveal at the end is that the sheriff was dead all along anyway? It's a bit melodramatic, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, we kind of
Yeah.
just carry on with their life, you know. Just tell him. It's like,
Yeah.
mind your business, sheriff. You're already dead yourself. You're one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can stop investigating now.
Yeah, this doesn't matter. This all doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This
No,
doesn't matter.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I didn't buy any camera equipment, okay? Get off my back. Oh, by the way, you're
George-
dead.
Yeah.
See you later. Welcome to Potter's Bluff.
George managed to survive his attack, and he's in the hospital. And Dan goes to talk to him, but a doctor tells him George won't be able to talk because he has no lips. Now, the effect here is absolutely just phenomenal because Stan Winston did special effects for this film, who of course did Pumpkinhead and Alien,
Mhm.
Terminator. He really went above and beyond. The figure in the full body cast lying on a hospital bed was actually a mechanical dummy built by Winston.
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the
Ah.
movements and everything. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But
Right.
very
I wouldn't have
effective
guessed that at
scene
all.
coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the most famous scene in the film, and another scene where there's a really great shot. So
Mm.
Dan and the doctor, who doesn't get a name because he's the only doctor.
Yeah, just one.
They're talking in the corridor in the hospital, and in the background you can see Lisa. She just gets up, walks into the room, and kills him by sticking a fucking needle in his eye.
That
Yeah.
was completely. I did not expect that at all. That was completely unexpected and looked absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
just made me like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
It was really
it
good.
looked disgusting in the best way.
Yeah.
I love the eeriness of the empty hospital. Like
Mm.
we're used to in films seeing hospitals very busy, in real life hospitals very busy, and this is, you know, I was going to say dead then, but yeah, I suppose it is. But very quiet, very quiet, very eerie. I love that shot down when he's talking to the doctor down the hall, and it's very sort of eerie.
Mm.
Lisa fuming.
Yeah.
She's got the negatives back.
She has.
She's like, this ain't for Playboy. He lied to me. I look awful. I'm fuming. Goes, sticks a needle in his eye. Good on you, Lisa.
For Playboy.
Yeah. I loved in the Kill as well how quiet it was. I think a lot of modern movies like rely on. I mean, this film, as we've said, like relies on sound a lot to sort of tell you what's happening in the narrative almost.
Those cues.
There was a few more times where like the sound would be like doing a reveal, and I'd be like, "Who's that?"
What's going on?
I don't know. I'm really shocked and surprised, but I'm not quite sure why. But in that death scene when she stuck the needle through, I can't fully remember, but I feel like it almost went like silent for a very short period of time.
Absolute silence. Yeah.
It was just like that.
Yeah.
It was just like a
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that absolutely made it way more effective.
Definitely.
And how do you follow an effective scene like that? Well, I'll tell you how. Grandpa Joe with some amazing dialogue. Oh, Daniel, what a great disappointment you are. Oh my God.
I know you've been in Dynasty, but I don't care.
He is fuming that Dan couldn't get more details about George, and Dan tells Dobbs that he makes him sick and that he should leave him alone. Yet he still doesn't suspect him from being a murderer.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He refers to George as a burnt steak. He says, "You brought me a burnt steak."
yeah, he does.
No alarm bells whatsoever.
Yeah,
Nothing going on. He doesn't.
He's really.
Sorry, one thing about the sheriff is he doesn't interview a single person.
Yeah.
No.
Anyone in. Somebody has been stabbed with a needle in an empty hospital. There's someone going around in a nurse's outfit. Could it be her?
Yeah.
No,
He is doing the bare minimum. I'm like, you don't even want to walk down the hall to investigate if the person's dropped anything, still around, just waiting around the corner. You were doing the bare minimum, sir.
Yeah, like, oh my God, he's dead. Oh well,
He's doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah.
He's doing the bare minimum whilst acting like he's got the most difficult job in the world. Oh, I can't fucking take this anymore. Do you want to interview someone? No, I can't be asked to do that.
My stress level's at 1,000. How many interviews have you done? Oh, not one, to be honest.
Do I look like I have time? I'm the only police officer in this town.
Run off my face.
At what point do you bring in the FBI? Like, how many murders do you have to bring in the FBI into a small town?
Yeah.
At Twin Peaks, it was just one.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah. That's really
Sorry, just going back to the non-interviews. Actually, he's got enough information from the principal of the school and his wife to corroborate that someone is lying about the sale of camera equipment. But he hasn't interviewed anybody about the death of George in the hospital. That's a really good point, actually.
No. Priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities.
This film that we were saying was really good at the start. Coming apart.
But that's been a theme for the last few podcast episodes, is like terrible emergency services. Like the doctors in Night of the Bloody Apes, the police in Blood Feast, and now this sheriff here as well.
Yeah. Because the principal just happened to be driving by. Like, hi, mate. You spoke to my wife recently. She gave you any camera equipment.
But it's like this whole time he's got Grandpa Joe constantly going to him looking for a nasty corpse, and he's still not once. You know, there's moments where he's like, I don't know who's doing this. Well, have you thought about maybe asking him, doing a background check, like you do, like an hour and 10 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
He did that a little earlier on, and I mean, we get a great film
I was
out of
gonna
it,
say,
so I'm
it'd be a
glad he
short
takes his
film,
time.
isn't
But
yeah.
We could have wrapped this up a bit quicker, though. We could have this could have been wrapped up. This could have been wrapped up, and you could have found out that you're dead earlier as well.
Janet comes home serving an outfit that looks like a mixture of Margaret White from Carrie and Carly Simon.
Oh my god, it's monochromatic.
Yeah.
She's got gloves, she's got a cape,
A hat.
she's got hair. Her hair is gorgeous, it's big, it's flowing. You know, for a dead woman, spoiler alert, she looks great.
Really serving.
Really serving.
Yeah, Dan is so upset about the murders, and she's just like, oh, yeah, that's a shame. Anyway, I'm having a great day.
She couldn't give two shits, could she?
No.
Yeah, she was very much like, anyway, let's talk about me. How am I doing today? More about me, please.
We're then introduced to a family, Ron, Linda, and their child Jamie, who looks suspiciously like the adult child from House by the Cemetery.
Oh god.
What was it? Bob from House by the Cemetery.
Was it? Oh, you mean the blonde one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also sounds a bit like him as well. He has the weirdest cry I've ever heard.
It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, just stop. He was giving me like the kid from the Babadook. Like, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Just stop.
I think you actually did say "shut up" twice.
Yeah, I did. And I'd say it again. It's like, dude, stop whining, please.
I also,
and this is probably why we don't have children right now.
I also love as well. Again, I'm probably moving this on a little too quickly, but when they have like a car accident and then the dad, I can't remember the dad's character's name, but he says to the kid, like, oh, don't worry, all little boys bang their head sometimes. And it's like he's been in a car accident, like.
Yeah, he's not walked into the corner of a table like it's in a car accident. Yeah, that's such a good point.
That's okay.
Come on,
Everyone
mate, get over it.
Everyone loses a toe every now and again.
Yeah.
What really stands out about this family is the fact that the rest of the film, you can tell the melodramatic performances are on purpose. Like they're doing it to make everything seem a little off, and you know everyone's doing a really good job. These three can't fucking act at all, and it's disappointing because the dad is Dick Pizza. You know,
He's Dick Pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, it all makes sense.
The mum is the star of The New Adventures of Lois and Clark, so it's like, you know, expect a little more from them, but no, the three of them can't act for shit.
Is that the Terry Hatcher one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember?
yeah. No, I don't. No, of course not.
They look
I don't remember anything, for fuck's sake. So I have to write so many fucking notes.
They're looking for directions, and George, now going by his name of Freddy, is back from the dead and working as a gas station attendant.
Yeah, looking fresh, looking very fresh.
Considering he was badly burnt last time we saw him, he's looking great. He offers to show them to the gas station, but yeah, they crash their car into a lamppost on the way and bicker about a light that Linda thinks she saw, whilst Jamie is crying about the bump on his head.
Just everybody in the car, shush, like, everyone be quiet. Everyone, please.
Yeah.
Just be quiet.
I love one of the things that I do love as well is that when we were watching this, Amelia quite often uses these sort of scenarios as examples of being like, look, right, if I saw a fucking light in the house, you better fucking believe me. Like,
if I say, let's get out of this house, we better be going.
Yeah,
we better be going. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. They see the light. He doesn't believe her, and then they go into the creepy fucking mortuary for help. Like out of everywhere they could go for help. Like, I mean, spoiler alert. Later on, they get the car started. They could have just got the car started and carried on.
Exactly. Yeah. They were in that mortuary or whatever, the house or whatever it was. They were in there for bloody ages, looking around like, I don't know if anyone's here. Hello. Oh, I'll just go up the stairs.
Yeah.
Everyone here? Hello. It's like, you are trespassing.
Yeah, because there is a shot as well where there's like a good like 2 inches of dust on something, and like they're just like, oh, I wonder wonder they must have gone out. I definitely saw a light there. Yeah.
They definitely still live here. Someone is still here.
Nothing in the fridge. No, someone's definitely here.
Yeah, let's keep looking. Let's keep searching around.
I mean, thankfully, I'm so grateful that these characters are so silly, because this is some of the best cinematography in the film. As we mentioned earlier, you know, the figure in the window in the background whilst Ron goes to the basement to see if he can find a switch for the lights. Seriously, why are you going to the basement to find a switch for the lights? Just get out of the fucking house. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
The townspeople start attacking them, but they make it back to the car. It won't start at first, but it starts after one of the townspeople appears in the back seat and grabs Jamie. And just when you think, yes, the kid's gonna fucking die, we don't have to hear that annoying cry anymore. He survives. They get the person out of the car, and they escape. Yeah. So we think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
She gets her forehead snatched.
She just gets.
Oh, she does get snatched. She does.
That was one of the bits that I did really like about the film as well. I was really glad that they made their escape.
Up until that point.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Because you kind of think, okay, so what are they going to do now then? Are they going to go somewhere and tell them about this and the police are going to show up? Or are they just going to go on with their lives and move on? But neither of the above.
No.
As we soon find out. Dan, meanwhile, as if that poor woman didn't have enough trauma from her snatched forehead, he runs her over.
Is it her?
Yeah.
Oh, is
Was
it?
that her?
Yeah,
No,
she's
it was a
wandering
bloke,
about
wasn't
without
it?
a forehead.
Was it her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was it?
And
I missed that as well.
yeah, but she's had enough now at this point.
Cool,
She's
we're
had
counting
enough.
on you, Gary.
She's had enough, so she attacks him. But before that, her arm is attached to the car, still moving.
Yeah, I like that effect. Was that her arm?
I'm
I
sure.
thought that was the boys' art. Oh no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was the boy.
It was the boys' arm.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
ginger-haired mortuary
Yeah.
assistant.
Yes.
Oh,
That's who he
okay.
ran over.
They did look very
Yeah.
similar, him and the forehead woman.
It was, and the cinematography is lovely, and I like it. But there were moments that were maybe a little too dark. Where I was,
100%.
what is
yeah.
going on there?
A bit
And-
squinty to see what was happening. Yeah, there was some bits that was far too dark.
If you're just,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh no, sorry, go on, carry on.
If you're just watching, and we get this a lot. If you're just watching, then it's fine. But if you're watching for the podcast and you're like, who's that? Who's going there? Who's in the trees?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, Alec, what's going on? Who is that? What? Why are they doing that? Even the dude, when like our first kill man, when he was back pumping the gas, I was like, is that the guy from the?
Yeah. I think the only reason we knew it was him was because of the music.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Oh.
you know, otherwise he would have just been Freddy.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that we kind of did find a bit difficult to get on with it for a short period of time. Was we weren't 100% sure if we'd seen them before or not.
Yeah, I have to admit, when that scene when it's revealed that it's the guy from the start, I thought that was Jimmy, the mortician assistant.
Oh
I-
yeah.
that's-
So,
But then when he took the photos later on, I was like, okay, no, I'm going to go back and change those notes. That's definitely.
This is what you should have, and no one steal this idea because it might be lucrative. Instead of subtitles, you get explanations. So underneath, you go, "This is the man from the beach at the beginning of the film."
Yeah. Oh my god, we need to bring back the little paperclip from PC. He could do that.
Oh my god. We hear you're trying to write a screenplay for Devon Berry.
Give him some work again. He needs a bit of work. The paperclip. I'd love to see him again.
Just pops up, I'm afraid this is a plot hole.
Yeah.
I'd like to draw your attention to this massive plot hole.
But yeah, the person that gets run over escapes with their arm.
Which one?
Mm.
Oh, they
We'll say
take
it's
the
Jimmy.
arm.
He escapes with his arm.
Oh, he
yeah.
holds the arm.
He goes. Dan goes back home to Janet and says, "Janet, have you seen my shells, honey?" And she says, "Shells? when did you go to the beach?
yeah. Gun shells! Gun, damn it! Gun shells!
Yeah.
Yeah, he is so angry now. He is
Yeah.
absolutely had it.
The stress levels are rising.
He finds a book about witchcraft in their bedroom, and he is that is it. That is his tipping point.
He's fuming.
Yeah.
He
Absolutely.
he
fuming.
is he is he goes to her in the kitchen, and she claims to have been teaching witchcraft in school because kids like creepy stuff. That's how teaching works, isn't it?
Yeah.
The kids like
Yeah.
something. It's like, oh yeah, we'll teach that.
Yeah.
Forget the curriculum. Let's focus what you guys want.
She asks Dan.
It might work better than fucking double science. Like, I've never used double science. I hate to be one of those people because I do understand how schools work. But, you know,
Would you use
I
witchcraft?
don't use science on a daily basis.
Would you use witchcraft on the day?
No, but they could have taught me about mortgages, for fuck's sake.
Oh,
You know,
my
this
God,
is what
yes.
the kids want to learn.
I mean, that is witchcraft, right?
Yeah, oh, God. That's very true.
That is it. We appreciate the school teachers, but yeah. Some life skills, please.
She asks Dan.
2 plus 2 is not enough for a deposit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not enough for a witchcraft spell either.
Yeah.
She asked Dan to take some film to Ernie to get developed, and also hands him his shotgun shells that she found. Also, Ernie, why wasn't he just film developer guy in the cast? Why does he get a name?
Yeah.
He's the only one in the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, why is he so
Um,
important?
I know. Yeah, he's a really boring character as well. I mean, we've only seen him in like 2 scenes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the doctor's a man. I was going to say, is it only women that don't get names?
No, there are
Oh,
equal
oh.
rights in this film. It's everyone's. Oh no, actually, there's probably more women without names. than
Yeah.
there is men.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Women are disproportionately left out in the naming conventions of the cast.
I'd like to say I'm surprised, but sure, whatever. Sure.
Harry discovers the family's car on the beach with nothing in there other than a toy airplane and informs Dan about it. So the family are dead
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They did
and
not
buried.
know.
Hey.
Hey.
Dan scrapes some flesh from his car and takes it to the local doctor. Our favourite character, Doctor. Ben tells Dan that dead George is at the petrol station and tells him to talk to his wife. Ben's stirring that pot again.
Yes,
Yeah.
he loves it. He loves
Always stirring that pot.
But Janet's busy teaching the kids about voodoo at school, isn't she?
Very on the nose.
Yeah.
It's
very
on the-
inappropriate. The way she grabbed
Yeah.
that little girl up was like,
Yeah.
it's very inappropriate.
Did think that was a bit much.
Yeah. Bit too scary for the old kids, isn't it?
Well, they love creepy stuff apparently, so.
They were just desperate for voodoo to be on the curriculum this year. Yeah.
This poor girl as well also doesn't have a name. A girl arrives in Potter's Bluff and hitches a ride. Someone whoever pulls up in the car is like, "You sure you want to ride with me? How do you know I'm not a dirty old man?" And immediately you think, "Hang on a minute, okay, actually
Yeah.
I'm good. Oh no, I'll definitely get in this car."
Yeah.
The way she swings her rucksack into
Yeah.
the back of that car, she was just like, "Oh well."
Yeah.
Like,
I was
dirty
"Girl,
old man,
get
I
in
hope
the
so.
car."
Yeah.
Boy, here's hoping.
This
Let me
is
get in.
my lucky day. Yeah.
He takes her to a junkyard. The townspeople start taking pictures of her, and he fucking kills her with a ruck to the head off screen.
Yeah.
She really, I mean, I don't know why they cut away because we get to the aftermath and it is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
He really did a number on her, much to Grandpa Joe's amusement.
Yes.
He
Yeah. Oh.
promises to make her beautiful again, even more beautiful than before, and removes her skin and reconstructs her face.
I thought that looked absolutely sick. I
Yeah.
thought that was
It did,
so
yeah.
fantastic. That looked
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that whole kind of deconstruction and then construction piece was done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of makes up for having an off-screen kill because, you know, sometimes that could be a bit of a cop-out. to secure a certain rating. But it's like, nope, you're going to follow it with a face reconstruction and a very detailed one at that. So cannot be mad at an off-screen kill.
Yeah.
And he's right as well, though. She looks much better.
Yeah, he did a great job.
She's yassified. he gets the lipstick out. He's like,
He does. Gets a bit
he's
of
really
blush.
proper going for it. A bit of blush. Like, she looks great. Well done, Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Go, Uncle Joe, go.
Yes, Uncle Joe.
I love that we have just continued to refer to him as Grandpa Joe the
That
entire
is
time
him.
as well.
We could have called him the dude from Fox and the Hound, whatever the hell he was, but no, it's got to be Grandpa Joe. It's got to be, yeah.
After a while, the hitchhiker rises from the dead. She's back and she's ready to serve, but we never see her again.
I
so.
know. It's true. It's true.
All of that work for nothing. The doctor tells Dan that the tissue samples that he provided has been dead approximately 3 or 4 months. And just when he's studying the sample some more, the townspeople kill him by injecting acid into his nose.
No one likes the grass.
Yeah.
Grass them up.
This scene, the effects in this as well. Are
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the
Really
townspeople are definitely wanting to make Grandpa Joe work.
Oh yeah,
Like really work.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just completely melt the inside of his head.
That-
Right,
wait.
reconstruct that, mate.
That is so true. They know that he's doing the old reconstruction. They're like, right, let's just demolish these people's heads.
Yeah.
Let's give him something. Let's just make him go away for a few hours or a few days doing the reconstruction. He could have slit some throats, to be fair, to make it easy for him.
Well, he wasn't keen on that. He wasn't keen on that. I mean, he went to town on that. What was the character's name? She got a name, even though she started off dead. What was the name? The woman who's working on
Old lady.
Oh,
like
Mrs.
Red.
Collins.
Oh,
Mrs.
Yeah.
Collins, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, Mrs. Collins. Yeah.
Oh, Collins.
Dan requests that George's coffin is dug up, and he discovers no corpse in there, just a heart wrapped in a jumper.
Mm.
He goes to the gas
Hate when that
station.
happens.
He goes to the gas station and takes a few pictures of a confused-looking Freddy.
Yeah.
He does.
Can
Let's
I
do
just say, with the unburying of the what's it called? I'm doing hand
Gives her the
motions.
knee.
The coffin.
Yeah. I was like, why is he using a pickaxe? Because he uses a pickaxe, right?
Yeah.
And I think I said to you, it's like, why is he using a pick? Just use the shovel. Use the shovel.
Nah.
Then you were like, no, that's not the correct way to do
Yeah,
it.
you got to loosen the soil first. Done this plenty of times.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? How do you know this?
Not
How do you know
not.
Yeah, hang on, pause
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, you know.
I told you they were right. The Tory MPs in the 80s were right.
Yeah. Yeah,
One of these
got plenty
video
of
nasties
hobbies.
done.
Plenty of hobbies: music, podcasting, digging up graves.
Yeah, only weekends though. Only weekends.
Yeah. Every other weekend.
Thank you for taking the time out to join us on the podcast.
Yeah.
We know your time is precious.
Dan finally grows suspicious of Dobbs, Grandpa Joe, and asks Betty to conduct a background check. The doctor's alive again, and Dan asks him if it's possible for corpses to be reanimated, and admits the sample he gave him was from a person he ran over. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute. As far as you know, this isn't a reanimated doctor. This is the same guy you were talking to before. You're like, yeah, I fucking ran over a guy. Can you bring people back to life? Okay, you're sounding sketchy, Dan. It's not exactly what you want to hear from the sheriff at the time.
Yeah, he's finally admitting to a hit and run that he committed. Yeah.
Betty tells Dan that Dobbs, Grandpa Joe, was formerly the chief pathologist in Providence, Rhode Island, until he was dismissed 10 years before conducting unauthorized experiments in the county morgue. It's almost like he should have realized this a lot earlier on.
Yeah.
But he goes home and he watches the footage that Janet gave to him. And it is like EastEnders at Christmas, isn't it? When they show a video with evidence of someone having an affair. It's footage of
Max and Stacy, the big reveal.
it's footage of Janet having sex with someone before she murders them.
Woo!
And all of the townspeople are there watching. They're like, yeah, go on, girl, you got this.
We're all behind you. You
There
go.
for moral support.
Yeah.
So Dan confronts Grandpa Joe about this, and he admits that he has developed a secret technique for reanimating the dead, and all of the townspeople are reanimated corpses under his control. He considers himself an artist who uses his reanimated corpses to murder the living in order to create more corpses for him to create art with. That's very complicated. Like, you could just do it yourself, Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, but it's what I enjoy, and I'm glad that they did this. They didn't feel the need to explain it all.
No.
He
Yeah.
wasn't there like, well, I took this and then I took that and I discovered this. I'm like, no, I'm keeping it to my grave. I'm not telling you because we want to keep this an hour and a half. You know, we ain't got the time. This is a quick B movie. We've got an hour and a half. I ain't explaining it, and you're not going to get it out of me.
Just be happy, all right? I'm not going into what happens afterwards, how I got to this point. Look, who the first one was? No, just be happy. This is an hour and a fucking half. Be happy with it.
Janet shows up, serving again, and she starts talking shit. Dan removes a piece of her face and shoots her. But then he shoots Grandpa Joe as well.
Yeah, he's had enough now.
Yes.
He has had enough.
This is when he's acting. This is when, oh, God damn it. Oh. He's
This is where the chops come out, the acting chops. While my girl is like persistently asking what he wants for dinner.
Yeah.
What do you want for dinner?
Yeah.
I think she was doing some beef stroganoff or something, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Sounded great.
It was that was a bit strange. Like, she was perfectly compass mentis for most of the movie, and then all of a sudden there's like a one line, kind of like does nothing else kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really hooked on dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A question that might get me investigated.
Oh, God.
What are the legalities of shagging a corpse that's been reanimated? Is it technically necrophilia? Like, I'm assuming they've consummated their marriage.
Yeah.
But what if they're both dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we might have to write a few letters, lads. Anonymous letters.
What are the rules around two corpses consensually engaging in
shagging? Like, what we're looking at here? Just so we know.
Just a future reference. For my friend Gary.
Star of Dallas, Gary.
So Dan follows Janet into the cemetery where she pleads with him to bury her in an open grave. He's like, yeah, if that's what you want, love. Fine.
He does it.
He's like,
Yeah.
The rest of the townspeople come to pay their respects to their favorite queen. And meanwhile...
Oh my God. So many hats. So many
hats.
There's a lot
headwear in this scene. It's incredible. They're an extra character in the fucking film. Everyone's got a fucking hat line.
Meanwhile, Grandpa Joe's listening to some music whilst he puts some lipstick on and injects himself with embalming fluid. That's what he was doing all along.
Yeah.
That's why he was in bed in Willy Wonka.
He hadn't had his
he hadn't had his embalming fluid in a while.
Embalmed!
Yeah.
We haven't embalmed Grandpa in a while.
And put his lipstick on. He was like, I cannot be seen outside without my lipstick.
Give me a second, damn! Put my lipstick on.
The townspeople start getting a bit touchy-feely with Dan, so he escapes and returns to Grandpa's office, where he discovers that he's alive again and has used his technique on himself. Grandpa then serves the biggest tea of the film when he shows Dan the big reveal. The man Janet was having sex with on the footage was Dan.
No, that had me absolutely shooketh.
Yeah.
Like, that had me I was like, wait, what? that
Yeah.
actually did get us like, woo.
I did notice one thing that was a slight plot hole with that part, which
Tell
is
me.
that if Grandpa Joe is reanimating himself in the explanation of the voodoo ritual where they have to hide the heart, how has he cut out his own
Oh
heart
yeah.
and hidden it?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
he's embalmed himself and removed his own heart before dying.
Hey, this is a man.
He's really skilled.
Really quick as well. Bloody hell.
I mean, this is a man. This is a man who magically gains the ability to walk when he sees a gold ticket. I mean, he's a man of many secrets, isn't he?
That really makes you question those benefits, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
The guy can survive without a heart. You know, there's something going on.
Are you
there.
fit to work? Are you fit to embalm yourself? You know?
The list of questions are getting longer. They're getting longer.
Whatever happens, don't give the Tories the power to reanimate corpses.
Hell no.
Oh my god. I feel I may also be put on the list for this one. I feel
I'm
like they
gonna
already have. They're all
I'm
lizards.
gonna agree with
They're all
you.
reanimated lizards.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz Truss was definitely a reanimated corpse, wasn't she?
Oh,
She acted like the cast of this film.
she was not reanimated at all. You have to have a look at that.
Still in stage one, absolutely.
Yeah.
She was embalmed. She was.
But Grandpa Joe doesn't give himself a glow up either. He just looks the exact same.
Yeah.
Everyone else, he wants to make them so beautiful, but for himself, he's like, I'll just stay the same.
I'm alright.
I'm already.
It's because he's already perfect.
Yeah.
He knows it. He
Yeah.
knows he just needs a bit of lippy. He knows he is perfect.
Yeah.
He's good to go. He's great.
That would be amazing though. Like if he came back and he's still really serious, but he's just completely dolled up.
Yeah.
Like, full on like face makeup, kind of like.
Yeah, contoured for the gods, cheeks slashed.
Yeah. So anyway, you're also dead. Like staring it like that hard. Yeah.
Straight face. The beat is unbelievable.
Kelly Clarkson playing in the background.
Yeah.
Wind machine on, hair flowing.
I love this version of Dead and Buried. When are we doing it?
That's the director's cut version. It's
Yeah,
one we
yeah.
haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
That's the real golden ticket. That one.
Yeah.
Dan stares at his own decomposing hands, and the final dialogue of the film, Grandpa Joe offers to repair them for him.
Oh,
And that's Dead and Buried.
that's dead and buried.
Yeah.
That is dead and buried. Yeah.
I like that cold opening. Cold
Ending.
Sort of ending.
Yeah.
That's the word. Yeah, ending.
It feels like the ending of a Tales from the Crypt episode, or like an anthology horror TV. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that sort of reveal. But yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic film, despite the fact we just read it to Phil.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's some of the things we picked up on. It's easier to overlook them when you're not analysing it for a podcast.
Yeah.
Because there's so much else going on to distract you as well. But yeah, no, it's very, thoroughly entertaining. One of the better video nasties.
And age will always bring a certain sort of kitschness to it. You know, it's been
all of Grandpa Joe's roles.
Yeah, but it's been 40 years now, so there are
Yeah.
certain things and you're like that hasn't aged the best. So, which is makes some entertaining films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for everything that we've said about it, it was really good. Like, we really enjoyed it. I think it's easy to kind of slate almost not anything, but it is always easy to find fault with something. So
And that's how we have a podcast.
I know.
Yeah.
That's where people like us come along.
Yeah.
But you're right about like the aging. I mean, just the video nasties in itself. Like my godmother's children, they were very much like, why'd you collect DVDs? Like, what's that about? How old are they? Like 16?
No, yeah, 16
Verona's
and like
16.
9. No, Verona's like 19.
Is she? Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm awful. Oh my God, I don't know how old you are.
She's
Oh
in
my
uni.
God.
In fact, she's probably 20
She's
by
in
now.
uni. Yeah. but there's like Gen Z or whatever, and they're very much like, why do you collect those? Why do you watch that? This film's in black and white. I'm like, dudes, this is these are the classics. These are the classics. Very much, yes, dated, but this is the beauty of film, where people have to not rely on special effects, practical effects. Like this is better in a way.
But it's like what
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's like what you said to them specifically about DVDs. That was cool, because we didn't get it with Dead and Buried because we watched it via Shudder. But like the cool thing about DVDs is you get a menu, and like I think that's so easy to be taken for granted. There's special features or all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
Sometimes the menu has charm.
Exactly.
You know, if film,
it's true.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like, again, sorry, tangent, but there's something in like holding it as well. Like it's something physical, and like seeing what the director looks like, hearing how they intended a certain scene to be absorbed or what. It's just so things like, shut up, kids.
Yeah, you damn kids.
Yeah, you damn kids.
But I think that is a problem now, is that because Netflix has a new film every week that everybody's talking about, it's forgotten a week after because the next one comes out. There's no need for any of that. You watch it, you're like, that was fine, and you carry on. Whereas these, 40 years, and we're sat here talking about Dead and Buried. I feel like if it wasn't on the Video Nasties, we still would be talking about it. Yeah. Really well made, really interesting. You want to learn about it. You want to own the DVD, the Blu-ray, because stuff like the no red lights. Well, I didn't notice that. Yeah. Now, Gary told us. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. That's great filmmaking. And you tend not to get that now. And I don't want to sound like old fuddy-duddy.
I feel like we're getting back into practical effects being used again. This year I've definitely noticed a lot in horror, a lot of practical effects back, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but the elevated horror that's coming out, they're the ones that we want to learn more about. They're the ones you want to get on Blu-ray but the made. Well, I'm really dissing Netflix now. The made for Netflix. 50% of people could not make it through this film. It's so scary. It's that kind of stuff where I'm like, oh, excuse me. It doesn't last. It doesn't stand the test of time.
No.
Like these kinds of films do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suddenly have a load of grey hair.
Where did they come from?
Yeah.
Giant wrinkle. I'm 80 years old.
We've been doing this podcast episode now for 40 years.
Maybe I've been embalmed. I know I sound really old when I say
that. Grandpa Joe, I knew it.
Yeah. It was you all along.
It was you all along.
Can we get to the awards?
Yes.
Ooh.
So, biggest queen. I feel like there's one answer. What does everyone else think?
It's got to be My Girl on the Beach.
I have someone different.
Yeah, it has to be for me.
Yeah,
My Girl on the Beach.
Future Playboy model. Yeah.
Lisa.
Yes. Coming to a summer near you.
Do you have?
Yeah.
I've nursed Lisa, specifically the one that didn't like her Playboy photos.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, Alec, what do you have?
I quite like the waitress. To be fair, I thought she was a strong female character too. Again, on the villainous side. Although she's in her 40s. She
is stuck in the 40s. Mine is actually is Janet Gillis.
Yeah.
Janet and her obsession with recipes and witchcraft. It was the Carly Simon outfit. That's what.
It was.
Yes, that was it.
Beef stroganoff.
Yeah.
So, today I'm going to do these. I'm going to do these two awards next to each other today. Normally they're a bit separated, but because my answer, and I'm sure everyone else's answers will be interchangeable. Biggest gasp and nastiest moment. So for me, I've got biggest gasp. I have the doctor's acid death, and nastiest moment. I have the needle to the eye. But honestly, that could be changed around easily.
Yeah.
What does everyone else have?
Yeah.
I agree with that. pretty much entirely. I think my biggest gasp or shocking moment was finding out that Dan was already dead.
I 100% agree.
I think that was my kind of like, oh, what? Like, no way. Or actually, well, yeah, I would also say the Freddy reveal, but I only gasped because of the music rather than the actual Freddy reveal.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
What about you, Chris?
For me, the nastiest moment, there's, and I didn't mention it before, when the hitchhiker's face has been reconstructed, he's like really digging into her eye socket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I kind of felt that as he was doing it, and then putting the eye back in. And it's like we've said before, there's certain things in horror that we can relate to a certain degree. You know, and that's one of them, like the whole eye thing. We've all had a black eye or damaged our eye or been in car crashes like that kid. But we've all sort of been there. It happens to everyone. But, you know, stuff like decapitations, I can't relate.
Yeah.
I can't relate to those. They're gory, they're grisly. But the ones that get me are the ones, especially around the eye. I find it particularly nasty.
Yeah, I'm funny about eye stuff as well.
Yeah, don't like eyes, do you?
No.
Yeah.
Best dialogue. I have. You're great. That's wonderful. I'm going to put this in Playboy.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's my favourite.
I think mine just has to be the whole like "Welcome to Potter's Bluff." Like that. I was just I love that.
What, when he comes through the window?
Yeah.
With a meat cleaver in hand. Yeah.
Love.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I'd be like, I know I'm about to die, but wow, that was great entrance. I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It has to be that.
I think mine would be the one about don't worry, whatever the child's name is. All little boys bump their heads after he's been in a car accident.
Parenting 101, like dad of the year.
Yeah. I just thought that was great.
And finally, for the That's Camp award, I'm giving it to Lisa's photo shoot.
Lisa's photo shoot gets it.
Yes, Lisa's photo shoot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very camp.
Yeah, we're all resolute on that.
Yeah, definitely the photo shoot.
And for our ratings, I give it 9 camp photography sessions out of 10.
I give it 8 yassified corpses out of 10.
I would give it 8 bumped heads out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it 8 rotten fingers out of 10.
And do we think it's masterpiece, trash or basic? I haven't really got any for that. I've just got great. It's not really a masterpiece.
No.
Or it could have been.
It could have been. It's closer to masterpiece.
Closer, but it's not. It's certainly not basic or trash.
Yeah. It's certainly not basic. It's certainly not trashy.
It's not a masterpiece neither.
No.
Even though I completely agree, it is such a good film.
Yeah.
But masterpiece, it is not.
Yeah. There's there's definitely room for some things to be corrected or for there to be a little bit more of an attention to detail in places. But
but it's fab. Yeah, it's fab.
Yeah.
So it is available on DVD, video on demand, and Shudder. If any of our listeners want to check it out, if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed this, I recommend checking out both The Fog and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 70s remake.
Nice. Yeah, again, nice recommendations. Yeah.
I would recommend, this might be a little out there, The Wicker Man.
Okay.
Weird townspeople.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Policeman. Don't know who to trust. I'd say
Ooh, I'd throw some Children of the Corn in there as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe even Hot Fuzz. Well.
That small town paranoia thing. Yeah. Some great films with that sort of theme.
Yeah. Maybe even kind of out there, and one that maybe a lot of more people would have seen that's more modern, but even like Midsummer on the same kind of vibe of kind of weird townspeople kind of thing. Unfamiliar.
Yes.
People
absolutely.
watching people have sex.
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
well?
that's very, yeah.
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 If you're into that.
Yeah.
If any of our listeners are a fan of Dead and Buried, we are Horror Cult Trash over on Facebook and Instagram, Horror Cult Trash on Twitter. I'm Deadoutgaz92 on Letterboxd, Gazmo205 on Instagram, and GazCruise92 on Twitter.
I'm Chris Barker 823 on Letterboxd and Instagram.
And go give us a rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, like a follow, and everything else. Thanks again for joining us. Where can we find you on social media?
Ooh, that was so fun. Do you want to go?
Yeah. I mean, you can find our podcast on any podcast platforms.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts, all the rest of it, Spotify. Find us on Instagram at killer.track.
Indeedy. And then over on individual social media, I'm Clarks_Capers on Instagram. Also on Kerrang Radio every Saturday at 10. Actually in the week as well. Just come and find me.
Yeah. And if shout out the band. Thank you, Chris, for mentioning earlier, but might as well do it. Shameless plug at Joanna Ray Band on Insta.
Mm-hmm. If you're a fan of very good music and treating your ears.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably the best place to find us as a podcast is at killer.track. Thank you so much, Gary and Chris, for having us. It's been
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. It was
so
a
much
lot of
fun.
We need
Yes.
to return the favour. You guys need to come on Killer Track sometime. Like, we
Yeah.
need
Absolutely.
to organise that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
yeah,
Gives us a
absolutely.
kick.
And
Gives us a kick
we'll
up the
def-
arse to get stuff done
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
yeah, and you guys are welcome back on it anytime.
Anytime. at all.
Yay.
Which is the worst film.
We'll pick another Grandpa Joe film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do an
Fox and
episode
Hound
of his
next.
career.
Hitler's daughter. Definitely Hitler's daughter.
Oh my god, no,
Yeah,
we need
well,
to do that.
Yeah,
we need to do that.
we did already commit to that in
Yes.
in the episode, so that needs to happen now.
100%.
We will be back on Friday with our original versus remake episode. This month we'll be discussing The Ghastly Ones and its remake by the same director, Legacy of Blood.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think. Probably not.
And next week we'll be finishing Nasty November, discussing Killer Nun with Kim from Kim Cinema Escape. on
Nice.
Instagram.
Now that'll be good.
Yes, Killer Nun. What a film.
Well, yeah. An acquired taste. Bit like us.
We'll be back same time, same place on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.